from Washington, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Madam Secretary, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. Thank you for inviting me.
So we know that DHS, this is your biggest event every year. How does that change when you have a sitting president? What are the challenges that you worry about? They keep you up at night.
Well, keeping the American homeland secure is a big job, but it is so special that the president, the first time in history, is going to the Super Bowl. So while we have been focused on security operations there for many, many months and have been preparing for this day, to have President Trump be there just amplifies the message that a great game means that everybody got to go, celebrate, support their team, and leave and get home safely.
Well, and Secretary, when you walked in, obviously there are always multiple crises that Homeland Security is looking at managing. And of course, Secret Service is within your purview. We've seen many of them here on the ground doing the hard work. Are you confident now that you've had a chance to get in? It's still early there at the agency, though, to take a look at what led up to the events on July 13th, the lapses there with the Secret Service. You've gotten sufficient answers and that you're moving in the right direction moving forward.
Oh, we're definitely moving in the right direction. And I'm proud of Secret Service and all the work that they do every day. They make incredible sacrifices to keep people safe, and on the investigative side have a lot of that training as well. But for this event, we've deployed many other assets as well. We're obviously working with the local authorities, with the governor, and with his agencies that he's detailed to this, but we have several different agencies under the Department of Homeland Security that have put hundreds of individuals, investigators, military police, folks that are used to these kinds of crowd control and security operations in their other departments that are focused on today to make sure that this big event is going to be safe and that we're going to make the right decisions in these situations that could arise and get everybody home safely.
And obviously, another one of your top priorities has been the border. There have been these ICE raids, deportation, and what we understand is that ICE, and you can clarify for us if this isn't accurate, many of their facilities here are now at or over capacity, and that means that some of the people who've been swept up have been released. I know that was something that President Trump was very critical of in previous administrations. Can you explain how that's working, how you're tracking those people, and what you're doing about ICE capacity?
So we have continuous people that are going home to their countries and being repatriated. So we have thousands of beds in detention facilities that are open today. We'll continue to do ops in different communities to get these dangerous criminals off of our streets and to get them home. So it's constantly changing number on what we're doing. And obviously, when we bring somebody in, we want to keep them detained and to send them back home, just like the president promised during the campaign and that he's following through on every day of his administration.
NBC reports this. They say a source familiar with his thinking says the president is getting, quote, angry that more people are not being deported, and then the message is being passed along to a number of officials, including you. So you'd be on the receiving end of that message. So I'll let you characterize. What are you hearing from the president about the capacity of people who are being swept up, deported, and whether or not he's angry? Is that accurate?
Oh, I talk to the president often, almost every single day, and what he keeps telling me is to keep going, that we're doing great, that the border is secure. We're having 90% less encounters at the border just because of the messaging and how aggressive we've been out on the streets to get these dangerous criminals out of our country. So I'm thankful for that. We've got 3 times the amount of ICE detainees that we brought in than the Biden administration. So what the president is doing is incredible, and he wants us to continue to build on that. So I think what he's concerned about is that, yes, we've had great success in getting rapists and murderers and child pornographers and pedophiles out of our country and away from our children and our families, but he doesn't want us to relax. He doesn't want us to get comfortable and say, okay, well, we've done a good job. He wants us to, put the pedal down and to go even harder, and we will do that.
Well, and you're just back from Guantanamo Bay, which is where some of these folks are being sent. There are, of course, a lot of people who are pushing back on that. Several immigrants' rights groups have written to you and a number of the other secretaries under the lead of the ACLU, and they say this: the government cannot attempt to subvert the statutory and constitutional rights afforded to these non-citizens in the U.S. by transferring them to an offshore prison and holding them incommunicado without access to counsel or any means of contact with the outside world. First of all, can you speak to whether that is an accurate characterization? And what do you say in response to their claims about legal rights for these folks?
that's just bull. And I just wish they would grow up and really recognize what we're doing here. What we're doing is, of course, we're giving due process to migrants. We've done that all the time, following the same procedures we always have been. But where are they advocating for the children that are missing, that Joe Biden lost? Why are they not advocating for these families that have lost children? Laken Riley's family, Jocelyn's family. Why are they not out there fighting for them and saying, thank you, Mr. President, for making sure that our kids aren't going to continue to be killed by drugs and trafficking and have dangerous criminals robbing small businesses in our hometowns? I mean, just get your priorities straight. This is about America. So start focusing on them instead of focusing on these dangerous people. I watched a plane load of people unload at Gitmo that were pedophiles, child pornographers. They were drug dealers in our communities, that literally these cartels are partnering with the Chinese to kill our next generation of Americans. That's who we're putting down there at Gitmo. And I'm just so thankful that they're not in our country anymore.
So also in that letter, they point to a report from the International Refugee Assistance Project, and because you were just there, I want you to speak to this. They say there are problems like no potable water, dilapidated housing, mold, rats, overflowing showers, and toilets spewing sewage. They say inadequate access to medical and health care. Can you tell us that you were just there? What are the conditions?
It was not like that at all. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe that was under the Biden administration or previously, but it was not like that at all. And our Army is there working hard to stand up the facilities and to meet our standards to make sure that we can use it in a way that it has always been used, but use it properly. We've had migrants there before. We are doing it again. We're going to use our assets that we have to make America safe again. And those claims are not happening today. I don't know what date they're referring to.
All right, we've got to leave it there, Madam Secretary. Okay. We know you were in North Carolina yesterday, too, and we know that meant a great deal to folks. You've been on the other side of FEMA as a governor, and so we know you take that knowledge into this business as well in your new role. Thank you very much for making time. Always good to see you.
Thank you, Shannon. You too.